All right, gamers, today we're going to look at the Doge Ship. Let's check it out. Okay, to set up for this game, what you're going to do is you're going to put out your little Doge Ship tiles on each edge there. You're going to put out these little tiles here for the ship, and depending on how many players, how many tiles you have in a two-player game, you'll just have two of each out there, and there are several tiles in the game, so the game will always be different because there are different colors, different abilities in each one. Of course, there's many more. You place out more for more players. This game plays up to 5 players. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to have these wooden discs here. You're going to place one on the money track starting at 12. You're going to place one on the victory point track starting at 0, and then, of course, some here on the turn track, and where you'll determine turn order every round. Other things you're going to have your pile of your gondolas here, your barricades here, or on somewhere on the board. You're going to have a pile of the scrolls here, and the Doge cards right here. And of course you have dice here and here. Now, in a 2-player game, you're only using half of the board. But in a 3 or 4-player game, you're going to be using the entire board here and rolling all the dice. I'm just going to show you a 2-player one here. So what you would do is each player, before the start of the game, they're going to pick 3 of these little barricade tokens, and they're going to choose one of them. Now each one comes with special abilities, meaning if you go to the icons on that board that match these, you'll get different special abilities. This one gives you a plus coin every time you take a build action. This one, every time you take a treasury action, you get a victory point. And this one, every time you take a buy action, you can buy a ship piece or an additional ship piece if you want to. Now if you notice, very important, there are these tiny little numbers at the edge of it, and that's very important because the person with the lowest barricade number starting will go first, and they'll be first player, and then so on and so forth in that number order, and that's how you can decide player order. So anyway, they just pick one of these. Let's say I pick this one, and I'll play it in front of my little player area, and then all the players will return the other barricades, usually at the bottom of the stack. And now comes the fun part. First off, you're going to reveal the Doge token, and the Doge token is going to tell you a few things here, like what does he like built today, and the Doge is so fickle, every day is a different day. For certain colors, he'll pay you more points. Some points he does not like, so -1 for blue. And if you build in certain areas on the ship, he'll give you one of these little scrolls if you do that. Now, let me just real quick show you. Each one of these pieces come with different colors on there, sometimes 2 of the same color, and you kind of want to look and see, is he here in some red? No, he's a 0 on red, but sometimes he could be a +2 on red, and maybe it's a good time to build red pieces. Now, building these pieces, if you look at the bottom, it'll tell you which section this piece is for. So flipping it over there, you can never tell. But seeing here, whatever shaded area is there tells you it's the bottom or the top piece. Now, when building the Doge ship, there's 2 rules. You have to build left to right and from bottom to top. So for instance, if I wanted to build, if these 2 bottom pieces got built, they could be built like this and this. I could not build this piece and put it over here yet until all of these pieces have been built to meet there. So I could build a middle piece there, or I could build a top piece right there. Now, again, I couldn't play a top middle piece because there's not a bottom piece there. But that's kind of how you would build the Doge ship, from left to right and from bottom to top. Now, after you've revealed the tokens, see what he likes there, then you're going to roll these dice. In a 2-player game, more players, you'd roll all the die. But I'd roll all these die, and I rolled a 4, and I put it there, the green 3, and a 1 there. And now here's where the game gets really fun. You're going to take your regular tokens, which there's 5 of them, starting off for each player, and then in player order there, you're going to be placing them on the board and doing different actions and abilities. Now the cool thing is, anything that is on or behind the die costs nothing. It costs you nothing extra to do. If you want to do any moves in front of the die, it's going to cost you 1 ducat every time you move front. So if I want to take this action, it would cost me 1 ducat. This would take me 3, that would take me 2, excuse me, and that would take me 3. So I'd move down on the money track here. On the money track, everyone starts off with 12 ducats. Of course, there's the maximum they can get is 28, and of course the minimum there is 0. So if I was to take that action, I would go down 1, 2, 3. Now, reading this board is very simple. It takes a little getting used to, but once you get used to it, you can read it. So I'm going to squeeze in just a little bit so you can look at all the little emblems on this board. It's very easy to understand. First off, a buy action is anything with a bag on it. If you have a bag, you can buy either a barricade, or in this case, one of the ship pieces. If I was to go here, I could buy a barricade or a gondola. As you can see, it just differs here. Now, if you have a buy action with a plus sign, that means you can buy a barricade and a gondola. Or, like I did here, I could build a barricade in. Now, I have to have it before I can build it. And if I only have one, and maybe I only have a ship piece, I don't have a barricade, I could build the ship piece, but I couldn't build a barricade unless I had one that needed to be built. So anyway, let me talk about buy actions. When you buy stuff, with the bags here, what you're going to do is you're going to be buying gondolas and barricades. Sometimes they are free. Sometimes they cost 1 ducat, and that's the highest they'll go. For gondolas or barricades, will be 1 ducat. But a lot of times they are free. So you could purchase one of those. Now for ship pieces, you would actually look here at the bottom in the middle here and look at the coin. Now, ignore the little scroll. That means when you build it, you will get a scroll. This trophy is victory points you'll get. And so here it costs 4 money. This costs 4 money too. So they both cost 4. Why would you get one or the other? Well, based on the colors and maybe even the position, which I'll get to in a minute. Well, let's go ahead and do this. If you go to the build actions here with the hammers on them, you can build either or like it said, if it has a plus sign, you can build one of each. And how you would build things like a barricade, you would just flip it over because you've already purchased it. You'd flip it over, and that would be your new special power, and you'd stack it on top of your other barricades. So if you had this barricade, you lose that ability, you gain a different ability, but you do have 2 barricades, and that's very important, and I'll explain why in a minute. With gondolas, whenever you build a gondola, you bought it for a coin, but if you go to one of these build actions, you'd flip it over, and now you can sell it. Yay! This is how you can make big money in the game. So you could sell this for 5 coins, and then I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the money track there. Now, gondolas will usually get you coins, but they can also get you some of these beautiful little scrolls, which I'll talk to what they do in just a moment. Now, other things, the treasure chest here, that just gives you more coins. So if blue player were to place this player there, they go 1, 2, 3. Now, I should say this. Once someone has played in that area, another player may not play their token on that same area that place is taken. So after a while, this board is going to get pretty tight. Now, I've taught you how to buy one and what the costs are. I've showed you how to build one, especially for gondolas and barricades. What about ships? Well, like I said, you just have to build in that order from left to right or from top to bottom. And once you build, you always want to check your little Doge ship, because like I said, if this, for the round, if you build something up front, then you would get a scroll if you got any one of these purple areas. And depending on the colors on here would also determine how many victory points you get. So I get 1 point here, but as you see, he really likes yellow, so that's a victory point. He likes green, so that's 2. And he doesn't have anything for red, and thankfully he doesn't want anything for blue because blue's a -1. So this would actually get me 3 points plus that 1 point. This is actually a 4-point tile. Yay! Now, what happens if you don't like what the Doge has? You don't like those colors that he picked out, and they don't give you the maximum victory points you feel. Well, you can go to any of these little emblem tokens here and pick another card. When you choose another card, you'll flip it over, and of course, as you see, things change here on the board. So now yellow's worth, instead of yellow being worth 1, it's worth 2. Instead of green being worth 1, it's worth 2. And of course, for some reason, those are still the same, but you could pick different ones, and the Doge likes different things. Here, as you see, a lot different. Now, blues are worth a +2, and yellows are a -1, and these 2 are 0. So there's plenty of different Doge tokens. If you don't like the one you have, or that's out for that round, you can change it with any one of the, placing an emblem in any one of these 2 symbols. Remember, if they were to place this one here, it'd be free because it's behind that die, and then if they place one here, it would cost someone 1 coin because it's 1 space in front of that die. Now, the other emblem here basically just gives you another scroll token. Now, let's talk about scroll tokens. Now at the end of every round, if the Doge is present, like this card, this guy's face here, what you're going to do is you're going to take all your little scrolls underneath your table, and in your hand you're going to blind bid with a bunch of people. You don't have to bid them all, you bid some, and then you reveal. The person who revealed, and these are numbered 1 and 3, but the person who revealed the most amount of scrolls is going to get victory points. 6 points for first place, 3 points for second place, 1 point for third place. Now, if you bid 0 and you're just like, there's only 3 players, so I get a victory point, right? No, if you didn't bid anything, you don't get any points. And there are no points for bidding for fourth and fifth place. So any scrolls that are bid are eliminated. You got to discard them from that round and hopefully get more on the next round. And of course, that just gives you extra points. Now, so anyway, that's building ships there. So we have the buy, we have the build, we have the little special actions. Basically, you're going to play all your little coins out here and then go to the next round where you're going to pick back up all your little things here and then place your die and then roll them again. Now, you're going to flip over another card, and if you saw that previous card, it was this one. This one means a flood is coming. Now, about half this Doge card's deck is filled with floods at different levels. And this is very important because this is a level 2. If you remember, I built a bridge, so I have a level 2. Am I fine? No. You have to your barricade must exceed the number on the flood. If it does not, if you met the number like I just did, you're going to lose 1 of your player tokens for the next round. So I would only, instead of 5 actions, I would only have 4 actions to play. Now, if I was at a 1 when this hit at the end of the game or end of the round, and I was underneath that number, I would lose 2 player tokens for the next round. So that would really hurt you in actions you can do for that round. So you always want to keep your barricades up. Now the highest flood in here, the lowest one is a 0, the highest one is a 5. So as long as you have 6 barricades, you should be fine. But building those barricades take time. And by the way, you may want to build additional barricades after that just to get more different powers in the game, or change your power. If you say, nah, this is not good, I want a better one, build another barricade. You can also do that, screw other players, because there's a limited amount of barricades here, and you can get unlimited barricades and really hurt other players every round if you want to do that. So anyway, after that round, either you resolve the flood or bid for the Doge's favor, and then flip over the next card and keep doing that. Now the game ends when you complete building that ship. Now I should mention there's one other action here, as I said that, is this other build action here that has a little, it has a ship and then it has a little arrow, maybe like a redo, if you can see that. What this means is sometimes toward the end of the game when you're building all the way out to the right and there's really no more spaces to build but over here in the right side, well, if you look, maybe the Doge this round wants you to build, or they really would like you to build middle. Well, I can't build middle because, let's say in this example, the middle's already been built. So what you could do if you picked this one here, and there's another one on the other side of the board too, if you pick that one here, it will let you rebuild that same piece, no matter in what order it is, so you can get those victory points and fulfill whatever that purple area is for that turn. So even if you don't have, ship pieces, you can rebuild a ship piece just to get those extra ducats, or favor, I should say, with the Doge. And again, once the last piece is built, that's the end of the game, we do one final round of bidding where the victory points are higher. It would be 9 points for first place, 6 for second, 3 for third. All right, so you basically just goes a little bit more on the end of the round. And then you add up your total score. Whoever has the highest score wins. In the occurrence of a tie, the person with the most ducats would win. And that's the game. Final thoughts. What do I think about the game? Well, you know what? I love Rio Grande games. I just don't have that many in my collection because a lot of the ones that are out there, I hate, but I love the company. Every time I go to a Comic-Con or, a board game convention, they are super nice. They're some of the nicest people you ever meet. And I was like, man, I wish I could have more of y'all's games, but I don't really like them. Well, that's because they're all out of print. This is a fantastic game. I love this game. That you roll the die, and that gives you, it changes up what you can buy for free, what you have to pay for. Sometimes the dice roll low. And the first time we played this, we hated it because the guy was throwing triple ones like several times, or ones and twos is really all he threw. I think that first round, the first game entirely, he threw 1-4. Everything else was 3 and under. Every time. And it was just aggravating because we were running low on money. We were fixing gondolas as fast as we could. We both were we spent a lot of the game bankrupt, and we didn't really enjoy it. So you know what? Let's give it another try, you know, because you just had some really bad rolls. We played it again later on, had better rolls. I read an instruction wrong the first time. That's why you should never play new games with me. So we fixed that little rule, and then brought this back and started playing it again. And I'm so glad we did, because then we really started to appreciate all the complexities of this. Gondolas you need for money. Barricades you need to, oh man. The second time we worked on this, we were getting killed in floods. And like I said, half those cards are flood cards. And we were tired of doing 3 moves every round. And so we were trying to build up our barricade. Everyone started building up their barricades the second game. And we all had like 6 barricades before the first flood even came. Or I think I had 5 when the first flood came. And we're like, we're never flooding again. And it's funny because it makes the barricades, the barriers, way more better. Now, another interesting strategy that we thought about later on, and someone did in the next game, was start buying up all the barricades and then hurting all the other players and hurting their actions. That's really good, but you're sacrificing ships being built, ship pieces being built, which could, you know, he fell behind the victory track. He didn't win because of that, because he waited too long, bought too many barricades, and he tried to get his money up. And money is dangerous. Man, money goes like that. And to get the right gondolas, it'll push up a little bit, but you've really got to work on it to get out the top of that track, which is what my buddy did. He went and got the top of the track, tons of barricades. While we were making ourselves broke building the ship and getting victory points, he was preparing for the second half of the game, and then he was just total dominating, but he still pulled up short because he waited too long. But I like that there's different strategies you can have in this game. This is a fantastic game. The whole time I was thinking about it, I was thinking about Jabba's sail barge and how they could retheme this as Return of the Jedi. Jabba's building his sail barge, and Bib Fortuna is checking every once in a while to see where you are on it. That's really stupid. That's my Star Wars mind here. But anyway, the Doge Ship. Really great game. I'm shocked. I mean, I guess I'm not shocked it's out of print. Games get passed up. There's so many games that get released nowadays that a lot of games just go under the radar, and this is one that did. Now, I got this one for super cheap. I'm pretty sure you can find it for super cheap. If it looks like something you want, I can't suggest this enough. I think it's just a fantastic game. All right, folks, that's all the time I have for now. Until next time, game on.